think we're going to move on to one of Smitty's other favorite segments now, the Wrath of Hahn.
Just weird shit. I mean, we coined this years ago, just all the weird things that have happened to the White Sox over the years. And it's really come down to be defined as the bizarre injuries that keep happening to you guys this year specifically. And we got another couple.
Yeah, we've got so we'll start off with Eloy Jiménez just running to catch a fly ball, somewhat routine fly ball in left. Maybe maybe heading towards the gap a little, but
this I'm specifically blaming Rick Hahn for because he jinxed it by just berating people for calling him injury prone.
Is that even a question? Is that even a question?
Yeah, so I think by so adamantly saying he's not injury prone led to Eloy being immediately injured with the same leg ailment or a similar leg ailment. I'm not sure if has it been described?
It's been they did the MRIs or whatever. Right. There's no damage or anything. It's just
leg tightness. I think it's the only thing
tightness I saw. Or whatever. And I think I don't know if you remember us talking about Eloy Jiménez on, I think it was one of our earlier podcasts, but you and I both said this, and I think it kind of continues still. We were in agreement. This was like one of our first ones for in the hole.
Oh, way back like a couple of years ago?
Way back a couple of years ago, that we felt that he really didn't understand how to deal with the everyday aches and pains of a baseball player. And that he may sometimes overreact to a pain here or a pain there. Now, this one, I get it because of coming off of what just happened.
Exactly. He might be hypersensitive to that and doesn't want, and maybe he's getting direction from the training staff and
not to hustle, but,
to report any minor twinge or anything. But he definitely should not have been hustling. He should have let that ball drop. He caught the ball.
Well, he tends to let a few too many balls drop that would be outs by a more competent left fielder, but already covered that. So it turned out that they thought he was like listed as day-to-day, and Tony said, no big deal, probably back in a couple days. And then it just came out like they're just not even going to play him till after the All-Star break. So
it was a wise decision considering how you fared after that injury, won enough games. So, and you've got the All-Star break here. So that all makes sense.
It was announced that Eloy would not be returning, and the Sox laid 12 on the Twins that night. So I guess it was all good. Didn't really matter.
It works.
The more interesting one and more disturbing and more what is it exactly, which I'm sure we'll find out this week, is Lewis Robert, who was really starting to hit the shit out of the ball and kind of did a bizarre play in center field where that was the Byron Buxton triple where he didn't score on, where he was coming in to play the ball and then kind of caught in between, but it looked like it was a ball that could have normally been caught by him. And then it rolls past him and turns into a triple. And then he plays another inning or has an at bat or something, and then is suddenly out of the game with lightheadedness. And
he has not returned.
He has not returned. There's concern. We've seen some of these cases lately where players have vertigo.
Yeah,
that's been some of the talk.
Well, specifically, this reminds me of my Tigers. Austin Meadows had similar things. He reported lightheadedness, and then it was reported he had vertigo. This was a month and a half ago, and he missed close to a month. Then he had other issues, and he's still fucking out. So there's a lot going on.
He's got double pulls in the ankles or something, or in the hamstrings or something. I don't know what it was, but
the way this is playing out just reminded me exactly step by step the way it was reported for Austin Meadows, like the lightheadedness, and then he just didn't sound like that big a deal, but then he missed a few games, and now I don't know that the White Sox have said it's vertigo, but I've heard, certainly I heard it today on the White Sox Talk podcast, the Chuck Garfien one I was mentioning before. They use the term vertigo, but it didn't sound like they were reporting that or anything like that.
No.
That seems to be like the rumor at least.
Yeah, it's not reported. It's everything's speculation. Could be an ear infection, whatever.
And that's the same thing they were talking about with Austin Meadows. Like it was an inner ear infection that led to vertigo and lightheadedness. It's just sort of all the same thing. So the other weird part of that is uh, Robert had COVID a month or so ago.
Right.
And I don't know if that's been linked or if that's an after effect or part of the recovery, or I don't know. I can't remember now if Austin Meadows also had COVID and then in a similar timeline developed the vertigo or the lightheadedness at least. So I don't know. There's speculation there, not a whole lot of news, but unfortunately you've got this All-Star break to hopefully heal up. But yeah, I remember seeing that play and thinking it was definitely an odd move. I think of Robert as one of the best center fielders in the game, and for him to not make that play was a bit curious. And now it's starting to make more sense what's going on, but a little disturbing.
Yeah, you also wonder, like, he has these weird moments at the plate where it looks like he just can't see the ball correctly, right? And so that's why when I heard the vertigo, and I did remember about Austin Meadows earlier this year, I started to think, crap, I wonder if that's what it is. And if it is, like you said, he's probably going to be out for a lot longer than the
possibly.
I mean, I don't know.
We don't even know that that's it, and it might affect different people in different ways, and it might clear up quicker with some people. Who knows? It's just we are here for reckless speculation. But,
let's hope
we'll know. I guess when the season starts up again in a few days.
Yeah. But speaking of that, and the Wrath of Hahn, our one of our favorites, Jay Kuda, posted this little tweet. The fact that Anderson, Robert, Abreu, Jimenez, Grandel, and Mancada since 2019 have only played 11% of the games together.
Oh my God.
I mean,
that's unreal.
That is unreal and disturbing. I mean, you couldn't have written a worse scenario for a team that was put together to mash and score a shit ton of runs when you can't keep those 6 guys together on the field.
90% of the time they are not on the field together.
Yeah, together. Yeah. So
that's why we had to come up with a phrase, and I think the Wrath of Hahn, it's not his fault, but I like the idea. I like the hashtag. Let's get this going.
Speaking of the Wrath of Hahn, I am now beginning my own Wrath of Hahn speculation that he can take former Cy Young candidates and ruin their second year with the team. And is Lance Lynn going through a similar Wrath of Hahn that he may have put on Dallas Keuchel, who had a breakout season with the White Sox? Granted, it was the vid year, so it was more of a sprint than a marathon. But Lance, a little bit different than Keuchel. He's coming off of injury, didn't have much of a spring. Probably, I had commented about how his rehab assignments didn't go exactly like he would have wanted them to go before he came back to pitch, but kind of came back by necessity. So, yeah, I'm having a little fun with this because of what happened to Keuchel, but at the same time, and I know you're hopeful for this, I think, I believe he can have a decent second half to the season. He hasn't been a Cy Young candidate for 6 straight years, in the top, at least finishing in the top 6 of all 6 of those years, or top 5, something like that, that he should fall off the table this much. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I have one distinct thought. I don't think you can blame. I don't think this goes under Rick Hahn. I can't put this under Wrath of Hahn. I think it's under Wrath of Smitty. Like I blame myself. I drafted Lance Lynn in our fantasy league, and within, I think it was 2 hours of our draft, he reported the initial injury in spring training.
Holy shit!
Then I just feel like every time I draft a White Sox, they turn to shit just to spite me because I speak so poorly of the White Sox throughout my life. So I guess I have this power over any White Sox that I'm able to draft. I typically draft White Sox just with the idea of trying to trade them to you or the other rabid White Sox fans in our league, because they usually get a bit over their skis trying to line their roster with with Sox players, so I can usually exploit that and get a good trade out of that. Unfortunately, I was not able to do that with you. You've learned my ways over whatever 18 years into this fantasy league. You've learned my MO that I tried to rip you off, and unfortunately, you and I were not able to make that trade just before Lance Lynn came off the IL. Yeah. Unfortunately for me, very fortunate for you.
Yeah.
So you were, and maybe you knew there was more coming, or that this downturn in Lance Lynn's performance was coming. But
well, I sent Jerry Reinsdorf an email. I cannot talk about the details of that email because of our relationship, because it was said in confidence. But he told me no. So yeah. No, I just
blame me. I guess is my summary.
I'm not giving you Justin Verlander. Anyway, we move on from that conversation. Yes. Well, then now it is the what would be a good the smite of Smitty? No, the
Smith the smite. I'll work. Yeah, there's something there. A smite, smote by Smitty.
As we like to discuss segments with you guys right on the air. So we're such professionals.
Workshopping poorly.
We really could run a tight ship over here.
Word Hole Media.